I'd like to call the school board meeting of September 22nd, 2025 to order. Please stand and before we do roll call, we are going to have our oath of office for our newest student liaison member, Clara Krasinski. So if you will meet me out there, please.
Grab the hand up, please.
Run from the table or this one? He's particular about microphones.
Oh.
I, Clara Krasinski,
do solemnly affirm
that I will faithfully serve as a student school board student liaison for Proctor Public Schools. I pledge to uphold the values and admissions of our district and to represent my fellow students with honesty, respect, and integrity. I will listen to the voices of my peers and bring their perspectives forward to the school board. I will approach my responsibilities with an open mind. A commitment to fairness, and a dedication for the interests of all students. I will work in partnership with the school board, administration, staff, and community to support the learning, growth, and well-being of every student. I accept this responsibility with pride and humility. And I will strive to contribute positively to the work and decisions of the Proctor School Board. Welcome.
Thank you. Hang on. On behalf of the school board, we officially welcome you to this important role. We look forward to your leadership and your voice on behalf of the students of Proctor Public Schools. Thank you for your willingness to serve. Amy, if you'll call the roll, please.
McDonald.
Here.
Peterson.
Here.
Hockenich. Here. McCormick.
Here.
Shelton.
Here.
Tumba.
Here.
Ward. Here. Student liaison members. Rostrom. Krasinski. Lyons.
Here.
Warren Swanson. Also in attendance is Tim Roweeder, Superintendent, and Business Manager Garrett Hulk.
Thank you. Our next thing is our vision statement. We educate, engage, and inspire. And our mission statement is empowering all learners to achieve in a respectful, innovative, and inclusive environment. Our next order of business is the adoption of the agenda. Looking for a motion.
So moved by Amy.
There's a motion by Amy. Is there a second?
I will second.
Second by Tammy. Any questions on the agenda? Nothing is added. Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say no. And that motion carries. The next order is to approve the minutes of the regular school board meeting of September 8th, 2025. Looking for a motion.
So moved, Jen.
There's a motion by Jen. Is there a second?
Yeah, I can second it, Jim.
There's a second by Jim. Any questions on the minutes? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say no, and that motion is carried. The next order is public comment. Is there anybody in the audience who would like to speak this evening? All right, I will not read the statement then that I generally read. On to communications, commendations and congratulations. Congratulate the following students for being nominated to the homecoming court. Queen candidates, Malakia Brostrom, Olivia Morin Swanson, Gianna Hansen, Sophie Folkstead, and Lola Whitty. King candidates, PJ Hansen, Lakin Lyons, Eric Lillo, Terrence Avery, and Ryan Hendrickson. Congratulations to Ryan Hendrickson and Lola Whitty for being crowned king and queen. And congratulations to our student liaison members who are well represented us on the homecoming court. We would like to commend and thank the entire Proctor Schools custodial staff for keeping our facilities in great condition. National Custodian Day is October 2nd. The next order of business are the student liaison comments. If you will enlighten us, please.
Well, as I was a little late addition, what I have for the arts section is drama has officially announced that our first show of the season will be A Wicked Christmas Carol, directed by our very own board chair. So Elsie Sather, Malakia, and I created a PSA with Miss P for the weekly hopper to encourage students to audition. That aired on Wednesday, I believe, and it took up most of the hopper.
All right, and then I'll get us started here on all of the wonders that homecoming week brought us. It was pretty fun. Of course, we had the Powder Puff game, and our team, the Blitz Babes, won. Olivia was on that team. Of course, the AAA assembly was a big success last Wednesday. It was kind of interesting because there wasn't as many seniors this year as there was prior, so it was a little bit shorter. So that left the seniors with some more time for some Perkins food and not school-sanctioned activities. Of course, the Pike Lake Pie, they hosted a 5K with about 130 participants, so that was very well participated, and that sounded like a great turnout for the Pie Club. And of course, Saturday, Pike Lake also had a pancake breakfast where lots of community members, staff, and students participated. A little side note, last week we had the pep tour where we got to go around and to the elementary schools and visit with the students. That was really exciting. It was really cool at Pike Lake how there's a big difference in Pike Lake and Bayview, and there's kind of like a cool little rivalry going on. That was kind of interesting to see. It was really cute to see the Pike Lake kids. They had like shovels and they were out in the back like digging and getting soil samples, and they said that they made their own apple cider with the apple trees. And of course they have pancake breakfast on Saturdays, and they even there was another thing. Now I'm forgetting. But oh yeah, they have like a fire, and they have s'mores and stuff like that very often. I thought that was really cool. And also the Proctor Fire Department had a successful and made our bonfire very safe last week. And they even turned on the lights at Eggerdahl, and there was kids playing football, soccer, and volleyball out in the field. That was pretty fun. And Pike Lake, lots of Pike Lake stuff. Pike Lake was also bagging groceries for a fundraiser for their Osprey Wilds field trip and many other field trips that they go on during the year.
The Jersey dance was also well attended. Lots of students had a blast. The pep assembly was also a great turnout thanks to the Spike Club. The new Rowdy mascot was also debuted, and whoever's Rowdy, he was killing it. Like, he did really good. The mascot was a big success. They played tons of games and really got everyone into the homecoming spirit. And the homecoming football game was also a great turnout. The stand stayed packed until the very end, and everyone was in high spirits. The Superior Suites DECA students were actually selling candy salads, and there were a few raffles.
Next, I'll talk about the first pep assembly we had. Sadly, our homecoming parade was canceled, but I think it was totally made up for with the very first pep assembly. But it was a lot of fun. Like Claire said, making time while sticking up for others and BIPOC population. And then this Thursday in the middle school, well, hosted by the middle school, I suppose, we have the Rails Nation Cookout at Egredal from 6:05 to 7:05. Thank you.
Are you saying no one knows who was in the rowdy costume? Really? Oh, okay.
Ms. P, we are actually looking for more students and more participation in the rowdy costume, so maybe you could take that role.
You know, as soon as somebody else's breath has been in it, no thank you.
Yeah.
You did it the first time.
No, No. I remember doing, when I taught here, I remember being in the sumo wrestling costumes. Well, but what I found is that the kids had actually found them behind a local drinking establishment in town, and that's, so Miss Steen and I smelled like liquor the rest of the day. It was not, it was great. Yeah.
Oh, that's bad.
Not good. I was a good sport, but it was nasty. All right, moving on to.
Hold on.
Oh,
I have a question, if I
Yes,
could, Madam Chair.
you can.
The cookout, did you say that's Thursday at Egredal? Is there anything else going on Thursday at Egredal? And the soccer game. There's lots of activities at Egredal on Thursday, so everybody come out, eat at the cookout, and cheer our kids on.
Is JMS Travels also doing their trivia
No.
night still, or did
No.
that got moved, right?
It has been postponed.
Okay.
And thank you, Mr. Ward, for bringing that to their attention. I emailed them the next day and said there were a lot of other activities, and so they postponed. So thank you for doing that. Anything else you would like to ask of our student liaison? No? All right, thank you. Communications from the media, items relating to the district from the Proctor Journal, September 11th, was to shine a light on local leadership, trivia fundraiser, which is no longer, and the READ application deadline is October 10th. I just had somebody contact me the other day, and you can find it on the READ website if you are interested in it. It's not just limited to staff. Community members are also encouraged to apply for READ grants. September 18th edition, homecoming, as you have heard, is underway. Proctor School strategic planning continues, and we will talk about that later in the board meeting. Jason Malik to enter the Bulldog Pantheon, and homecoming is a cherished tradition, and Pike Lake students harvest apples for juice. Our next order of business is a consent agenda. Looking for a motion. I'll make that motion. Is there that motion is carried. The next, informational items and reports, pre-approved presentations. I don't believe anyone is here to present anything. Mr. Ruler.
That is not sonar, that is Rails TV. So if you heard that, we are not in a submarine.
All right, thank you, Madam Chair. It's been a busy couple weeks. First, I want to just, announce that we've come to a tentative agreement with our teachers union. And so I want to thank Larry and Jim and Joe and Garrett for the time that they put in to get to that agreement. Also, Union President Dan Stauber, Delia Syme, Hannah Urban, and Erica Amborn. It was great meetings every time. Very productive, very collaborative, work together. So I'm excited about having that process done and moving forward. So the red line version will be sent out to the board very soon. So you can see what that's all about and all the details. So look for that. I mentioned in the board reporter, Joe Presselt and Dave Hinks and our police chief and SRO have been working on a safer, more efficient pickup and drop-off process at Bayview. And so we've come up with a plan that's going to be implemented on October 20th. right after MEA. So signage is getting purchased and developed. The actual parking lots are getting repainted so that arrows and things like that to remind people where to go. And those working on communication with the families. So we're looking forward to having that be a safer and better flowing, not clogging up inland and stuff like that. So we're looking forward to those changes. And I'll in my board report, I'll include a map of kind of what the changes are, so you can see specific what those will be. But so that I appreciate Joe's work on that. Take the lead and with that. Northern Lights Academy is still currently looking for a location. I've mentioned before that Carleton High School is probably not going to be around next year. The building itself is not in good shape. It's no longer able to be insured just because of the shape it's in. And so they're looking for a location for 25 or 26, 27 and beyond. Beyond, hopefully within a few years, they'll have a new location built in Carleton. There's some land that Carleton County gave for that purpose. But in the meantime, they're looking for a location. Next Friday, they're going to tour St. Rose with me to see if that might be an option in the meantime for some of their classes. But that's something that as a district, there may be an ask for each district to provide obviously some funding or potentially do an ask of taxpayers to help support the building of that new facility for them. That might also eventually be part of a CTE facility as well. So there's some plans in different phases with that. So, but again, Northern Lights Academy is very useful for us here at the school. We have a handful of students that are attending there. It's a more beneficial setting for those students, and they're more successful in that setting. And so definitely a program that we want to see continue and thrive. I'm in the process of meeting with youth associations, baseball, softball, lacrosse, and the like, just because they use our facilities throughout the district, and I want to make sure that we're working together to make sure the facilities are safe, they're well maintained, and they serve the needs of those associations. And there's never really been anything written down in terms of agreements with these associations of the usage of those facilities. So just we want to get something on paper so that when they have leadership change and stuff like that they know kind of what we're asking them to do and what we're responsible for doing in those agreements for partnerships. So I have those meetings coming up. And, again, more just to collaborate, especially what can we do to support their association at that facility? What can make their experience better, and what things do they do to support us to make sure that they're providing something to using the facility. So, and then today was DOT inspections down at the bus garage, and I just talked to Chad Lowry, our transportation director, on the phone before the meeting. He said for the most part things went very well. There's some minor things that need to be fixed that they're going to work on. Most of them should be fixed by tomorrow, and they can come back and do the inspection again on those. But for the most part, I don't know, Jim, you can add more to that.
Just a couple minor problems, a brake, a parking brake, and one that can start with the batteries. But other than that, I think he was really pleased with everything.
Yep.
Yeah, because I was happy my bus one passed, so that's all I cared about really at the time.
Yeah, so Chad's been doing a great job along with his driving staff to maintain and make sure our buses are in good working order, and the vans, all those things.
Yeah, just to add on to what you said earlier too, even at the middle school and high school when they changed the time a little bit and marked the spots to park and everything, it's been a lot easier loading the kids, not as much running. They know where they're supposed to line up and stuff and everything, and that's been working really good so far.
Yeah. So for the most part, transportation-wise, we're in pretty good shape with our fleet, so we're happy about that, and looking forward to continued success and safety in the transportation department. So I think that's all I got.
Thank you. The next item is the MSBA did talk about
About your question last time, no, we have not had a chance to talk about that. But, I did talk to MSBA. They mentioned that maybe we go down for one of the days, some of the sessions. So that's something that we can talk about. Once they come out with the schedule, we can look at it. What you might be interested in.
it would probably be a down and back in the same day though because of chaperoning and all that sort of thing. But there might be some seminars that you might, as you said, there were some things that you wish you would have been able to see when you were presenting. So, and that would be fun. All right, so make sure you let Lori know. The next item is the district calendar, and there were 4 different versions in your packet. The legislature has decided to let us start before Labor Day, if that's something that we choose to do. And the first 2 calendars, I believe, are the starting before Labor Day. The second 2 are starting after Labor Day. Some of the things that you might notice is if we start before Labor Day, graduation would fall right around Memorial Weekend, which is not ideal for many families. It's something to take into consideration. And the weather in June is not always ideal anyway. But you can take a look at the 4 drafts. We don't plan to make a decision this evening, but just take a look at them. And I don't know if on my computer anyway, I have a hard time seeing the last day of school, the gray one. So can the rest of you see it? The first 2 calendars, I couldn't find the final date. It's very strange. Very strange. Yeah. No, 'cause I was looking at the 2 calendars and I couldn't differentiate one from the other. So I had to come in next to that's the number. And you received staff input about the calendar?
I did give union leadership calendars to distribute and get feedback. Our administrative team will also be talking about it. And so I would imagine probably the second meeting in October would probably be the time that we have enough input by then. Tim, I got a question on that. If we were to go with the earlier start and earlier out, do we have the deck reserve ready for that year, or do we do that just a year ahead of time? Typically, the same time that we have graduation, are we reserving for the next year? Okay, thank you.
Any other questions about the calendar? You can see one has a shorter holiday break around December. So just take a look at them and bring them back. Give us additional information. The next item is the strategic plan update. As you know, this Wednesday we have our first strategic planning session. I gave everybody an outline of what we will be doing that first evening. At 5:15, we are inviting the community to come in and do a listening session. We have completed listening sessions for bus drivers and teachers at all the different locations, Local 66, the Agri Bus Drivers Administration, students, and so we have garnered all kinds of information. And tonight we did a short little listening session with the people who are at the District Advisory Council. Unfortunately, the meeting, we didn't get to finish everything, so, but I do have some input from them as well. And board members will be given copies of State of the District, the Survey Monkey survey. There's a compilation that's done, and you'll have a copy of all the listening sessions. So that's how our first meeting will run. It seems like a lot of information people will receive at the first meeting. That's why we're giving them a little time to talk in a group, but then go home and mull before we come back and do our second.
So what time are we due here on Wednesday then?
6 o'clock, and we're over at the event center. Got it. Thank you. So 5:15 is the community listening session. 6 o'clock is the strategic planning session. And for all of you viewers at home, it's at the event center upstairs. Okay, any questions about the strategic plan update? Okay, report, school board committee report. Do we have anybody who met? I do have one request. Since I have become the theater director, I am not able to make community ed advisory meetings in September and November. They are September 30th and November 30th at 4:30 in Hermantown. So if there is someone else who would like to represent the board and go to those two meetings, I know Krista would love to have a representative there. September 30th and November 30th. It's over at and you can contact Cindy and let her, and I would hate to miss them, I truly would, but I have rehearsal.
Community ed meetings September 30th and November 20th.
November 20th, thank you. Okay, so if there's somebody who would like to attend Cindy's meetings, let me know. What are those? Cindy, when your next meeting is?
Share the schedule or the meeting invites with the board members?
Mm-hmm.
October 13th. Are they just monthly or?
Yeah, and Cindy has a schedule, so she could just send them all out to board members.
Mm-hmm. Just, that'd be great if you just forward it.
Wow, well,
Okay, I think I can make the 13th. I know I'm flying out that week, so I'm not sure which day.
okay. But it's nice to have the board representative at those kinds of meetings, so. And Cindy will start coming to our meetings and just updating the board on what's going on as well. So we appreciate that, thank you. Legislative updates. Do you have anything? And Tim didn't know if we had received this. It's advocating with MSBA for your school district is as easy as 1, 2, 3. And he has some copies here, so we can hand those out to board members.
Sessions on the back of that for school board development, so.
And they have super, thank you.
I received it and I passed it in.
Thank you. Knowledge is a superpower and board members are superheroes. That's what it says right here. So, all right, if you'd like to get involved, pick one of these up. Board goals, I think, are pretty much the same as they have been. I'm kind of proud of the board for working diligently on its goals. Township and city communications, do we have anything?
Yeah, I'd like to just thank Fire Chief Kerry Helquist for making sure that we had a fire department presence at our bonfire. And also Ken Gatis, our police chief, and Michael Bradley, our SRO, for just their presence at our different homecoming events and at the football game and at the dance, all those different things, just to help us maintain safety and make sure, everything went off well, so.
Thank you. And I saw you were quoted in the Minneapolis Star-Tribune. If you didn't see the article, it had to do with safety in the schools. And Jana Hollingsworth, one of our former students, wrote the article in conjunction with others, but represented our district well. So thank you. Action items, individual action, Finance Director report and approval of Treasurer's report. So first we will have the Finance Director's report. Garrett Altgren.
Thank you, Chair Peterson, members. Real brief report. Audit season for us, so we're getting ready for our financial audit. That'll be happening in October, and we also found out food service has been selected for an administrative review. So every 3 years, the Department of Education Nutrition Services goes through and audits the work that we do through the USD School Lunch Program. So that'll be happening October, November, and December. So we're getting ready for that also, and then I'll save comments for LTFM and the levy for those action items. Thank you.
The next item is to approve the payment of bills dated September 8th, 2025 in the amount of $152,098.25, covering checks 124057 through 124145 and all ACH transfers. To approve the payment of bills dated September 15th, 2025 in the amount of $228,068.24, covering checks 124146 through 124233 and all ACH transfers. To void check 123311. Looking for a motion.
So moved by Amy.
There's a motion by Amy. Is there a second?
I'll second, Jen.
Second by Jen to approve the payment of bills and to void the check. Any questions or comments on those? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say no. And that motion is carried. The next is to approve a recommendation from Superintendent Roweeder and Business Manager Garrett Hultgren to certify the proposed 2025 payable 2026 levy at the maximum. The Truth in Taxation hearing will be on December 8th, 2025 at 6:30 p.m. Looking for a motion.
So moved by Amy.
There's a motion by Amy. Is there a second?
I'll second. Go ahead.
A second by Tammy. And discussion.
So being passed around right now is the totals page of what currently is showing on the district levy. Two highlighted amounts are the increase as a dollar figure and increase as a percentage over the prior year. Right now, showing a 2.21 increase. There are still a few items not reflected in this levy, so I anticipate that to increase slightly for the final at Truth and Taxation in December.
Okay, we have a motion and a second and a brief explanation. Any other questions or comments before we vote? Hearing none, all those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say no. And that motion is unanimously approved. The next is to approve the request for a leave of absence from Jill Lackner, grade 1 teacher at Bayview Elementary, beginning January 5th, 2026 through August 2029. Looking for a motion. There's no motion to approve, so that request is denied due to lack of a motion. The next is to approve and adopt the final reading of Policy 606-5 Library Materials. Looking for a motion. I'll make that motion. Is there a second?
Yeah, I could second it, Jim.
There's a second by Jim. You notice that there were some red line changes that we discussed at the last meeting. Any questions or comments about those changes? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no, and that motion is unanimously approved. The next is a resolution to adopt a resolution adopting the district's revised long-term facilities maintenance plan. Looking for a motion.
So moved, Jen.
There's a motion by Jen. Is there a second?
Second by Amy.
Second by Amy. Garrett.
So this has to do with a small change in roofing projects for the district. So if you remember back in July, we had a LTFM plan that had, the board had the additional levy authority to levy for roofing projects over $100,000 per site per year. So for fiscal year 27, we'll be doing the indoor turf roof. And so as part of that, we're reflecting that on our 10-year plans for fiscal year 27. So dollar figure on the expense and revenue side, and it'll have a levy impact for the 25 P26 levy.
Any questions about that? All right, no other questions or comments? Resolution calls for a roll call vote. Amy?
McDonald.
Yes.
Peterson.
Yes.
Pockernich. Yes. Pagornik.
Yes.
Shelton.
Yes.
Sunbaugh.
Yes.
Ward.
Yes.
Unanimously approved. Thank you.
Thank you. The next item on our agenda are board member comments. Would any board member like to speak?
I would.
Tammy?
In my capacity of my day job, I work in community relations for Minnesota Power and Elite, and in that capacity, I work with United Way organizations throughout the state. And this last week, I received an email from the United Way that's the Lakes area out of Brainerd, because in our conversation I mentioned I was on the Proctor School Board. So she sent me this message, which I wanted to share with all of you, because I thought you would enjoy it. I believe during our recent meeting that you said you're a member of the Proctor School Board. My son plays football for Pequot Lakes. We recently had the opportunity to play against Proctor. While the final score was quite lopsided in our favor, I felt compelled to write and commend your players and coaching staff for their exceptional positivity and team spirit. Despite the score, your team continued to fight hard, rally together, and most importantly, encourage one another until the final whistle. The epitome of good sportsmanship was on full display, and it did not go unnoticed. At Pequot Lakes, we have a tradition of providing a meal for visiting team before they board the bus for the return trip. After the game, my son shared that your players were among the kindest and most respectful guests they've ever hosted. This gesture was also graciously reciprocated last year when our team traveled to Proctor, which we truly appreciated. In my opinion, this is exactly what high school sports should be about: respect, sportsmanship, and the lasting values that go far beyond the final score. I wanted to extend my thanks and admiration to your players and coaching staff.
That is wonderful. Wow.
Were you able to share that with the football coach? I just emailed you and him. If you could share that, I think that would be great. That is awesome.
Yeah. Any other board member comments?
Well, on top of that, I was watching a game the other day. What was it, Saturday, when the young kids won their game at the end? I don't know if anybody else was there, but they scored at the end and won 24-22 over Two Harbors. So that may be a sign to come that our young kids are because there's been so many kids out, younger kids out playing football now, that it's so nice to see. So it was good to see how happy and excited they were when they won that game right at the end.
Go ahead. No. Okay. I was able to do the listening sessions with the 9th, 10th, and 11th and 12th graders, and it was a great experience. They had a lot of good ideas. They were thoughtful, respectful, and I actually had a blast. I would love to do it again if we could do it every year, because they just sat there and they all started sharing their ideas, and it was just amazing to hear all these wonderful ideas. I mean, some of them were simple, things we can do right away that would affect how they see the school, the hallways, painting the hallways, or anything, just small. It was awesome. It was a great experience. We had good kids. Young adults. Yeah, good.
And on top of that is like, I hear from people that are doing jobs in Duluth District, and then they come up and they're working in Proctor District, and my wife is one of those persons that does that. And the kids in Proctor, she says she just can't wait to get a call or come in to help in Proctor compared to Duluth. So, I mean, it's a good thing about talking about our kids here in school here.
And having facilitated several of the listening sessions, I think what I appreciated the most, I flail, is that I've said in each session, do you want me to leave because I'm a school board member? And I could just leave my Otter AI there to transcribe the whole thing, and everyone has said, no, you can stay. There's no division with the board and the community or the teachers, and so I appreciate that. I appreciate how open and honest people have been. So it's been, and I think we should do it every year, just to remind ourselves what our mission really is, and that to remember that we serve the community. We aren't, the 7 of us aren't special. We were just elected to serve. And so we appreciate the opportunity. Thank you.
In the words of a Brainerd School Board member, Lynn, I'm from Proctor, and I couldn't be prouder.
You can't hear us now? We'll yell a little louder. And I quoted your brother at the opening session of school this year. Yes. Any other board member comments? Our last order of business is a motion to adjourn.
So moved by Amy.
There's a motion by Amy. Is there a second? I'll second that. Any questions, comments? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say no. And our meeting is adjourned at 7:44. Thank you everyone for coming.
Have a good week, youngster.
Stay
healthy.
What does it shut if you hold it, right?
Just hold it and
Yeah, right? How come it's not shutting